let me make sure that you understand I'm not here representing the NRA. I'm not even a member. Okay? Secondly, I'd like to say that in your opening statements, you commented specifically on my testimony, saying that basically it had nothing to do with this issue. And I had to chuckle because then I noticed you had Mr. Brady up here, who was hit not with an assault weapon but with a .22 caliber revolver. So getting beyond that, I didn't grow up in a house with guns. I don't hunt. I personally abhor hunting. But I was given a gun by a friend when I was 21 to carry in my purse for self-defense, and I was taught how to use it. A couple of years ago, my parents and I went to a cafeteria in Texas on a bright sunny day. We weren't in a dark alley where we weren't supposed to be. And as you all know the story, this madman drove his truck through the window. And he began shooting. Well, immediately, my father and I got down on the floor and put the table up in front of us. And this guy kept shooting. And you're thinking, what could it be? Is it a robbery? That's the first thing that generally comes to mind. And he keeps shooting. It took me a good 45 seconds to realize that this man wasn't there to commit a robbery. He wasn't there for a hit. He was there to simply shoot as many people as he possibly could. Now, I'd like to make something clear. I hear all this talk about how many bullets can go in a clip. I've been there. I can tell you it doesn't matter. It takes 1 second to switch out a clip. You can have 1 bullet or 100 bullets. It doesn't matter, guys. I've been there. He goes, dump, dump. Just like that. That's not enough time to rush a man. I promise you. When I finally realized what was occurring, I thought, I got him. And I reached for my purse. He was maybe 12 feet away. Is it possible my gun could have jammed? Sure. Is it possible I could have missed? Sure. But I can tell you I've hit much smaller targets at much greater distances. But then I realized that a couple of months earlier I had made the stupidest decision of my life. I took my gun out of my purse and left it in my car. Because as you well know, in the state of Texas, it's sometimes a felony offense to carry a gun in your purse. I can tell you that I'm not mad at the guy that did this. As he continued, it was obvious that he was a madman. My father, at that point, said, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. He's going to kill everybody in here. And he rushed the man. No way. This guy turned, shot him in the chest. He went down, was obviously mortally wounded. For whatever reason, that made the man change directions and go off to my left. Shortly thereafter, someone at the back of the restaurant broke out a window. When I saw what looked like an opportunity to escape, I turned around and I grabbed my mother by the shirt and I said, come on, we've got to run, we've got to get out of here. And then my feet grew wings and I was out the back window. As soon as I got out, I realized that my mother had not followed me out. And as I learned from the police officers, she had crawled over to where my father was and cradled him until the guy got back around to her, put the gun to her head. She looked up at him, put her head down, and he pulled the trigger. My parents had just had their 47th wedding anniversary. She wasn't going anywhere. As I mentioned, I'm not really mad at the guy that did this. And I'm certainly not mad at the guns that did this. They didn't walk in there by themselves and pull their own triggers. The guy that did it was a lunatic. That's like being mad at a rabid dog. I'm mad at my legislators for legislating me out of the right to protect myself and my family. I would much rather be sitting in jail with a felony offense on my head than have my parents alive. As far as these so-called assault weapons, you say that they don't have any defense use. You tell that to the guy that I saw on a videotape of the LA riots, standing up on his rooftop, protecting his property and his life from an entire mob with one of these so-called assault weapons. Tell me that he didn't have a legitimate self-defense use. Just one final statement. I've been sitting here getting more and more fed up with all of this talk about these pieces of machinery having no legitimate sporting purpose, no legitimate hunting purpose, People, that is not the point of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not about duck hunting. And I know I'm not going to make very many friends saying this, but it's about our rights, all of our rights, to be able to protect ourselves from all of you guys up there.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that video before. That's one I've seen many, many times. But yeah, it rings true to this day, you know. Yeah. It's not just for self-preservation, but it's also to prevent the current nature of mankind from doing the full retard. That's why the founding fathers put that little implementation in there, because
it's to prevent Hitlers and Stalins.
Yep, because they understood as much as anybody, as being astute observers from history, what happens when you have an unarmed populace. Tyrannies arrive. Tyrannies arise, and they cost great amounts of blood to vanquish, and often when such vanquishments occur, they get filled by nothing more than the same thing. But yeah, overall, this gun is a tool. This gun is designed to defend one's life. It's designed to be used by both good hands and bad. You know, it's a tool, and it's neither inherently good or evil, but it is power, and with power comes great responsibility. It's like, put it into the sense of like Marvel superheroes or DC superheroes. You know, both characters have equal opportunity to either do good things with their powers or to do wickedly evil things with their powers, but just them having powers isn't inherently dangerous to humanity. What's dangerous is how they decide to use said powers. And that does remind me, you know, of the old famous Spider-Man saying from Uncle Ben. You know, he always told Peter, you know, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, this is great power, and there's great responsibility in having such power and being able to wield it precisely controlled.
With great Ebola power come great Ebola responsibility, my brothers, when you know the way.
Yes, my brother, you must know the way. This is the way. You need to know the way. We must protect the queen with the way
of Uganda.
The great harvest of Uganda.
I wonder if the queen will be rejoining our conversation.
Well, she came through on the video, my brother. But I think the other queen triggered that queen.
Queen Katerina. I do not know if she will come back and show us the way.
Spit on the non-believers. I spit on you. I spit on you. I spit on you. I give you the Ebola. This is the Ebola.
We must do the chant to summon the queen back to the live stream.
That was so funny. I wish we could get all.
Team is cancer.
I really wish we could get all the people who were on that VR chat video in here on a hangout with us, so we could do something really funny like that, or do a PSEC episode on VR chat.
Or how about Perfect Cell? You know that guy? He's the one that made like the anime Uganda Knuckles thing.
Oh yeah.
No, we are not doing this. Oh my God, we're really doing this. You know, fuck you, or no, fuck the way, fuck your queen, and most importantly, fuck you. Fucking hilarious. No, I was listening to Perfect Cell on a live stream the other day. He was checking out this game called Subnautica. Pretty intricate game, actually. Very, very interesting game. Definitely takes brain power to use. It's not your traditional shoot 'em up stuff. Like you have to. It's real good strategy game sort of thing. It's interesting.
Shoot 'em up. Boom, 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 boom. And you see how I'm doing this, folks, without being a danger to anybody? I'm literally just sitting here with an unloaded 1911. And it's not doing anything that I don't tell it to do. Or that I don't control.
You have loaded ideas, you bigoted racist. That's
I know. Oh, guns. They're only for white people. Laughs and oppression. We have Maxim guns and they have not. Rule Britannia, slaughter all of those Kangs. We was the Kangs and shit. We invented the civilization with the sacred melanin and the watermelons. Oh, am I being too racist for y'all? I really don't care. I'm done. The status stuff is all cancer. I mean, they talk about racism and they are the racists. So you know what? I'm just gonna laugh and be a racist myself because I just don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. It's like, here's the Ebola. Have the Ebola. I will spit on you. You do not know the way. By the way, the movie Who Killed Captain Alex is freaking hilarious. Cheesy Ugandan movie. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was based off of. Then some guy on DeviantArt made the Ugandan Knuckles VR chat skin.
Oh, here's the queen. Hello, my queen.
We have found the queen. She will show us the way.
She must show us the way back to Uganda. There will be good harvest for Uganda.
Welcome back, Katerina.
Hello.
Hi, Katerina.
So getting more back onto the more interpersonal part of the Year of Darkness, Katerina, got any interesting, integrating, shifting, synchronistic stories to share with us?
I do want to hear.
I'm not in a sharing mood.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
What?
Oh, nothing. It's just,
Well, we like it when you share.
Yeah.
I know. It's just been a lot of stuff we've been dealing with here. I'm just tired, guys. Been dealing with my family for nearly 2 months.
Yeah, that's quite an undertaking, I can say, from plenty of experience, or from some limited exposure and experience.
Try living away from your family and getting really used to living in your own world and not bumping into your old paradigms every single freaking day. And then coming back and then just being whoa, man, I came from kind of a rough place.
Mm-hmm.
And to see just how rough it is with new eyes.
Well, Year of Darkness is all about facing the past too. All the old shit that humanity's been avoiding collectively and individually is just kind of fucking, jumping out like Freddy fucking Krueger and, giving us the opportunity to either stand in our own sovereignty and authority and be willing to shift and clear, or end up being a cuck to narcissism. So
yeah.
Yeah, we're relatively past a lot of the gun conversation at this point, and we were actually very neutral with it.
Yep.
Oh, that's fine. I was just kind of bored listening to the lady recount everything step by step.
Oh, that was a short little video. You were gone way before that. you were in the conversation a long time back, and then you dropped off because you had to go deal with something with your brother or whatever, and you didn't return.
Yeah.
So apparently you clicked the live stream link, not the join conversation link, and, you know, came in on that short little video. Like, that was only just a few minutes long. The majority of the conversation wasn't anything to do with playing videos. I just kind of popped that up as a quickie. I think Richard is having Google fuck with him a little right now.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, it froze pretty hardcore. But yeah, basically that whole video is just basically one I've seen before, and basically just kind of reiterates the point why it's important for people to take self-determinating responsibility, and, you know, basically,
Yeah, just a personal responsibility thing. I just tossed it up there as just a little quickie to illustrate the point, so that people know that it's not just, you know, me and Richard flapping our irrelevant opinions that nobody cares about, and we shouldn't waste our time talking about, according to some beta cucks. But anyway, you know, to, you know, show people that you know, it's a thing. It's not just a Richard and Dave thing. It's, you know, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that video was like from the mid to early like 70s or something. So like that.
No, it was later than that, because the assault weapons ban that she's referring to is mid-90s.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the first set of bans came along. Well, here we are going into firearms again. Woohoo! 1986, the Reagan administration passed a machine gun. It was another machine gun act on top of the 1968 and the 1933 acts. Basically, it basically prevented any new manufacture after 1986 for civilian.
I guess it was just the video quality. I guess it was just the video quality that made it seem 70s-ish, because it kind of seemed like tacky 70s broadcast video, sort of, you know.
70s, 80s, 90s. It was all about the same quality. We didn't really start to see better quality until after the 90s went by. It was all pretty much VHS at that point.
And plus her hairstyle and the way she was dressed really wasn't helping.
No, it was very 90s-ish, early to mid 90s-ish. Yeah, because the assault weapons ban, which was really nothing more than a semi-automatic rifle ban, which is basically like my AK is without a sporterized stock.
She had kind of like a early to mid 70s like look about her, like as far as her hair and her clothes and everything.
Right,
That's
right.
another reason that, and plus the way the people were, the political people in there were like dressed was like that, you know, like that 70s style corporate fucking whatever. So
it's later than 70s. It's definitely 90s. But anyway, beyond that,
Katerina knows more about fashion than me anyway.
That she does, and me. But anyway, the 1993 assault weapons ban, which is really, again, another buzzword which has been carried on until the modern times. You know, assault weapon. It's like, you know, that's a load of crap expression that was developed by some politician somewhere who didn't know jack crap about guns.
Sprinkle salt on your Colt over there, and you'll have a salt weapon.
Yeah, a salt weapon.
Salty.
But anyway, you know, it's one of those deals basically where they basically made a bunch of you know, rifles weren't allowed to have a pistol grip, you know, a standard pistol grip on them, and no standard butt stocks. So they made these sporterized stocks for a while, you know, and then by 2004, I think it was a 10-year ban, and it ended in 2003 and 2004. They weren't allowed to sell new 30-round magazines. You couldn't buy high-capacity magazines for a while. It was a bunch of stupid little stipulations that they had in effect. And after the assault weapons ban ended, it's funny because the first thing people did after it ended the government released a whole bunch of their magazines that they had in stockpiles that they weren't using, a bunch of AR Stanag magazines, steel magazines, and it said not for civilian use, government property, law enforcement use only. My dad's got like shit tons of those magazines around, and it's kind of funny, because I was like, it's kind of cool to load one up and, put it full of ammunition and shoot it to the range and go, yeah, F you, government, we're using your magazines. It says on the side, not for civilian use. And here we are.
It's almost like downloading a pirate copy of a movie, but it was actually ripped from a studio copy. So like the opening screen at the beginning says it's a warning. It's a studio copy for editing and review only, not for commercial resale.
Yeah, it's essentially sending a finger to the establishment. I always get a kick out of that. I'm gonna see if I can't maybe get my hands on a few of those at some point, just because they're fun, they're funny. But anyway, little things like that. And that was a Clinton era assault weapons ban. But of course, the 1986 thing was only due to machine guns and all that. But beyond that,
Hold on a minute, guys. I'm broadcasting live on a live stream right now. What's up? Yeah. I'm not really interested right now. I'm on a live stream broadcasting live. I'm on a live stream. I'm PSEC. I'm on a live stream broadcasting live out to the world right now. Yep. So much cognitive dissonance. I had to say it that many times.
You want to watch a movie? No, I'm on a live stream. You want to go get some popcorn across town? No, I'm on a live stream. You want to go race a race car around a track several times? No, I'm on a live stream. You want to go skydiving? No, I'm on a live stream. Do you want to go land on the moon? No, I'm on a live stream.
Do you want to go to Uganda to find the queen and show the way?
But my brother,
we're already doing that on the live stream.
We've already found the way. I'm the queen.
We got the queen right here, my brother.
The queen. Hello, pretty lady. I want to go smack, smack, boom, boom, man. Smack, smack, boom, boom, man. I love that. The Gaston, the commander or whatever, he's walking around. He's like following all these girls on VR chat. Either the guy has a really good African accent like I do, or he's a genuine guy off the continent, which either way is still really funny.
I like the musical VR chat memes where Mr. Wobbles has the Ugandan knuckle skin on, and he's going through, and he's like got this setup where he's got like, I guess, mixing boards and a piano and a mic and all this other stuff, and he's doing like this, this improv parody singing and shit and talking, singing about the way and like getting people's reactions and stuff. And
I saw this really
fucking skill.
I saw this really funny. It was a quick clip, but it was a Scottish Ugandan Knuckles. And he had a little Scottish flag and bagpipes, and he starts playing super loud bagpipe music over the VR chat, and it like totally ear rapes everybody. And he's like, "Oh, my brothers, you get to know the way from Scotland." Starts playing Scotland the Brave. I laughed so hard. It's Ugandan Knuckles wearing a kilt, and he's got the Glengarry on, and he's wearing Scottish regalia. I'm like, hey, that's me.
You know the
way. Instead of Scotland the Brave, Uganda the Brave. Where are the Ugandan warriors? Sending plenty of love from Scotland. But anyway, don't mind our nonsense and silliness, Katerina. We're just being silly over here.
Yep, because in the year of darkness, just the opportunity to shine. Or bend over and just take it like a cock, but
Katerina's been shining like a boss. She's just tired right now, which is totally understandable considering how much damage has had to have been cleaned up around there. Lots of damage. I got really tired too when I was around there because it was a lot to take in and a lot to do. I can only imagine there's still much to be done.
yeah, the last time you guys were on a PSEC episode together, the last time we were all sort of together, like retroactively through my video editor, you were actually over there.
I was. Yes, I was. And it was awesome.
Why don't you guys actually tell us a little bit more about that, seeing as we were limited to the video that you provided me.
I still wish I could get another round of fascia blasting, because that fascia blasting is awesome.
Where I put the little thing up above where you guys were that said fascism book live stream, and it said it like English and German, and it had the swastika through the Facebook app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that was kind of a good chance to hang out with Katerina first for the first time. I mean, it was just kind of that culture shock of being able to see somebody you've only gotten to know online, you know, for the first time. Katerina's a heck of a lot shorter than I would have ever imagined. I was surprised by that. I always envisioned her at least being my height.
She hasn't kept her height a secret, dude.
You know, or at least just a little bit shorter, but not by much.
Katerina, you still here?
I don't know if she is. She might have rolled stuff.
Might have fallen asleep.
Or fallen asleep. Yeah.
I mean, it still says she's, you know, connected into the stream here. I mean, I'm super tired too. I've been up since early this morning, and I didn't get much sleep in total either. But I'm not quite to the point of like risking passing out on anybody yet here.
Yeah, I'm not near that either. I mean, you know, yeah, I'm tired, but
The Queen must wake up and rejoin the conversation. Queen, we need to know the way.
You need to know the way. I'm so lost. I don't know the way.
Wake up, my queen. Let's tell us the way before we get Ola.
Should we play some Gone and Knuckles VR chatter rape?
Oh God.
See how loud we can get.
No, because we're on a live stream, and as fun as shit like that is in, you know, private audio conversations, that sort of thing, I would have to agree with Beta Cuck that would be a waste of time, and a bunch of nobodies would give a fuck.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, it's like, that's not for a live stream.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's one thing to get silly and have conversations and stuff like that, but to like do that crazy stuff, it's like, all right, you know, it might be funny if we actually were in VR chat or something, but we're not. This is just like a Google Hangout, and like we don't need to go there.
Nope.
Katerina, wakey.
What?
Ah, there you are.
There
Did
she
you fall
is.
asleep on us?
No, I'm just out in the hot tub
Ah,
with my
so
new
Katerina is live streaming naked. Everybody put that mental image into your brains and enjoy.
That explains a lot, and that explains why I hear bubbles. Or
Why I'm
water.
what?
Why we hear bubbles from your end. Bloop, bloop.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
First we thought you might be cooking up some Ebola, but actually it was the hot tub. Oh God, when Perfect Cell was in the live stream about Subnautica, everybody was making jokes about Dewey and Ebola and all of that. Oh my God. And in this one part of the game, like you can scan objects in the game, and I can tell he noticed one of the things I typed because he verbalized it, because I typed in scanning Ebola ... He's like, oh, we're scanning Ebola apparently. And like, scanning for Ebola. I would love to have that guy on a PSEC live stream one of these days. He's like ridiculously fucking funny. I should try to get a hold of him. He's like super popular, so it's probably going to be like trying to get Lars Ulrich's attention by screaming in the crowd at a Metallica concert, but I'll see what I can do.
Well, it would be really funny to at some point, like if DJ Chops were to get in on that meme and actually were to show him on that and get him kind of hooked up on that. It'd be funny to have DJ Chops on the live stream.
DJ Chops can like barely do audio without it fucking out, much less video.
Yeah, well, yeah, audio. It would have to be audio, but I mean, if he were to get a better setup at some point, that's what I mean. Yeah, at this point, yeah, it's impossible.
A long ass time ago, he did video with me once. It was terrible.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah, African grade video.
Oh God. DJ Chops is in Gambia, not Uganda.
No, I know he's in the Gambia. Yeah, he said thousands of times. Yeah.
Our viewing audience doesn't know that, so that's
it would still be really funny though, just because he's from the continent. He's the only guy that we really relatively know that, you know.
Yeah, it'd be cool to show him those videos and then have him start talking about the way.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
he's fucking great.
He's not from Uganda, but that's the point of it.
Yeah, but still the same type of accent and all that.
Yeah, he's got a similar accent. It's West African as opposed to East African, but still, yeah. He would yeah. It would just bring the meme to life. It would just be like, you know.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That'd be fucking great. And actual Africa doing that.
Do you know the way? I know the way to Gambia, but not Uganda.
I mean, he talks like that too. It's great.
Yeah, he does.
It'd be like perfect for like, you know, the living version of that meme. It'd be awesome. Still here, Katerina?
I think she's lost in the bubbles of the hot tub.
What?
Yeah,
What?
She's lost in the bubbles of the hot tub.
I don't even know if she's even listening. Like, are you in this conversation? You said you wanted to be in
Not at all.
Not at all. Because you said you wanted to be in the conversation, and then I like re-gave you the link again, and then you joined back up, and this is like, you're just like...
I'm just enjoying being around you guys. I don't necessarily need to be talking about the same stuff you guys are talking about.
Well, we do enjoy having you in the conversation. What would you like to talk about, Katerina? What would you like to talk about, Katerina? Show us the way.
I just don't really want to talk right now. But I just want to hang out.
All right.
I enjoy listening to you guys.
Well, sorry, everybody watching this live stream and everybody who will watch it in the future. Katerina does not want to grace you with her lovely voice that much this time around. So anyway, darkness, shining light, all that good stuff. Welcome back, Richard. You'd like to hop off for a sec. Okay, so Year of Darkness, Shining Light, Ditching Narcissism, etc., etc., etc. Richard, anything else that that you want to add to this, point out, warn about, you know, whatever the case may be? Anything we haven't covered yet? Toasty, my brother. I can barely hear you.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There you are.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There you are. Were you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you so loud that you nearly blew my eardrums.
I mean, I was asking if, there's anything else you wanted to add on the topic of, your darkness and shining the light and so on and so on, things that you haven't been brought up yet that maybe you feel are relevant and need to be brought up. Anything we have not gone into yet?
No, I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. I guess all else I can really say is just it's just going to be an opportunity for people, those that are willing to, see things as an opportunity instead of a burden. And there's going to be a lot of other videos that we're going to do this year that are going to, have separate individual topics as far as like all sorts of different people and projects and stuff, where that sort of thing is exactly happening. Like, look at all the stuff that IPFS, Interplanetary File System, has, been bringing forth so far. You've got like Steemit and BitChute and DTube and DSound and all these other these cool IPFS-based platforms. And the main CEO guy, got his name right this second, but the guy who is heading up that project, he was even doing a TED talk on IPFS, and it's some really cool shit. And he admits it was kind of born out of frustration, of things as they've been. It's just been like, right now humanity's not in a state of like thinking, oh well, it would be cool to make something awesome just for awesomeness sake and to be efficient to avoid potential future problems. It's like people kind of get too lazy and comfortable into the mediocrity they're in, and they really only want to dive into that full creativity when a fire is kind of lit up under their ass, basically. So things like IPFS have been a result of that fire being lit up under our ass, and seeing that a lot of the ways that we deal with technology and the internet and all that right now are getting overloaded and are half-ass and are prone to censorship out the asshole by Naziistic fuckers and all these various different problems. And so this platform has been created that is beneficial to individuals and corporations alike. So that's one of the many cool things that's happened. And obviously there's other non-IPFS platforms like such as Minds and WrongThink, so on and so forth. There's just all people are just getting creative with all these different new ways of doing stuff, inspired by all the negatives. So whether it's mass shootings or internet censorship or what have you, it's an opportunity to be inspired to creativity. And that's just the process as it's continuing, that people hit their breaking points, their frustration points, they get mad and they're like, no more, and then the ones that don't self-destruct, they really let their creativity and their brilliance and their genius start to shine through, and ideas start to form and shit starts to get invented, and people start coming together in ways that they never have before, which is really ironic amongst all the division and dick wagging. Of course, obviously it's smaller groups of people coming together on things. It's not like the bulk of people coming together on anything, but it's still really cool that for every shitty thing that happens, it inspires somebody to go do something good and awesome. It's not only just inspiring people to whine like toddlers and have their tantrums and whatever. I mean, yeah, there's more than enough of that happening too. But amidst all of that, you know, there's these small pockets of people that are, you know, just inspired to do more and more and more good. And, you know, this is just planting the seeds, and these things are just going to continue to grow because these ideas, these platforms, all the stuff that's coming about, I mean, it's really cool shit. Like, to the point where even, you know, a complete fool that knows less than nothing about nothing can look at it and go, wow, that shit's actually kind of cool. I like that. It's like that's also why these you know, like these IPFS platforms are growing mainly by word of mouth primarily because they're just so damn cool. Like once someone understands what that is and what it does, it's like, who wouldn't want it? You know, I mean, it's been out since 2014. I had only vaguely heard of it until, you know, late 2017. But like, once I really understood what it was about and what was going on, I'm like, fuck yeah, you know, I mean, I'm using the IPFS based platforms. And once I know a lot more about IPFS than I know now, like shit, I'd love to run, you know, an IPFS node over here on a computer over here. Like, shit's awesome. There's lots of cool shit happening. So when you see all the crazy going on in the world and all the destruction and all the people going batshit and, you know, just all this other stuff, just remember there's good shit too, but you got to look for it. And if you can't find it, maybe create some of your own good shit. Because, I mean, it's happening whether you see it or not. And, you know, I've run into so many people that won't even look for the good stuff. They automatically assume it doesn't exist. They think that looking for it, it's an insult to their intelligence. Like they're trying to take into serious consideration looking for the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny or some shit. You know, they feel like it's an insult to their intelligence, so they just shouldn't bother going looking for it. So they don't see the good because they've normalized the bad so much. That's just their reality. And they think that anything outside of that is patronizing, an insult to their intelligence, like they're setting themselves up to be taken advantage of or whatever. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, that's their problem. Those of us that are willing to see the good is out there to see. The bad is out there too, but, you know, the good is out there and it's growing. And we seem to have one viewer according to YouTube. I don't know how long we've had it. That might actually be my freaking throat. It might actually be Chaos Girl 13. I had neglected to mention earlier that I was kind of browsing DeviantArt and stuff while we were talking, and Chaos Girl 13 had replied to me talking about the, you know, hungry like an SJW, you know, that little music video that I made. And, you know, she was saying that she liked that one. And, you know, I noticed that, you know, the timestamp was marked as 12 minutes prior. And I simply responded like, hey, you know, if you're receiving this reply in real time, I'm on a live stream right now. So, like, you know, here's the link and whatever. So yeah, I don't know if that was her that I saw pop on there according to YouTube, or if it was somebody else or whatever. But yeah, Chaos Girl 13. So she said she was going to tune in. I don't know if she did or had time to or whatever. It's not like YouTube tells me, and like I don't have like the little live stream like chat thingy popped up most of the time because, like, you know, the PSEC channel isn't like this super huge, ungodly channel like it used to be in the past. This is like version 2, so it's a smaller channel. So I usually don't get like shit tons of people piling into a live stream chat. So I haven't really had any real reason to, you know, to actually, look at the chats, because like every time I look at it, there's like, you know, nobody really chatting in there anyway. So, you know, obviously once we grow to a bit of a bigger demographic and I actually start seeing more actual comments from people, you know, being commented on the videos themselves, I'll be like more interested in, you know, checking the chat more often and being like, hey, I wonder if anybody's actually in there. But yeah, I think I basically said all I need to say about that, and I might be risking like beating a horse to death to go any further. Like, how many different ways do people need me to say, hey, you know, the darkness is a place to shine your light, and there's good and there's bad, and it's a fucking menu, and both things are on the menu, and you get to pick which one you want to order, the shit burger or the hamburger. It's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So this year is going to be really challenging. It's not going to get any less intense for us individually or collectively. So if you want to be able to navigate through it, you know, you just gotta just learn to drop all the self-loathing and the narcissism and all the societal bullshit that you know, the educational system and the mainstream and society in general has taught us how to be. You know, be willing to drop that normalization of it and to renew our minds. Love that one Bible verse that talks about do not conform to the patterns of this world, but instead renew your mind. Fucking A.
Mm-hmm.
Is Katerina speaking?
Yeah.
We can barely hear you. If you want to be heard, speak up.
It says be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Be transformed by what?
By the renewing of your mind.
Yes. Yep, be transformed. I mean, I literally have it like written, like it's literally a part of like a pair of shoes that I have. Like I didn't write it on there. It's like it's literally like in like a part of like the shoe design. That particular Bible verse, so it's pretty interesting. Katerina, anything you want to add before we close out the broadcast? I mean, we're still going to be here on the line, but we're going to be closing out the live streaming aspect of it.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yep. She's farting out her bubbles in the hot tub, and she's relaxing. I can barely hear you. What?
I'm just laughing at what you said.
Oh, okay. She's farting out bubbles in the hot tub while naked on a live stream. So you guys can enjoy that mental image there.
Oh boy, Paul.
You guys can have fun with that. Huh?
But Paul would be so excited.
Yep. So I guess that's it for this live stream. Other than to simply say I don't expect anybody to blindly believe a word of anything I've said. I'm not looking to conform anybody to my views, neither is anybody else on this live stream. And I just feel that all this stuff is just, you know, it's happening. So people don't really need to be convinced. I mean, when their time comes, they will be facing this, you know, head on in their own lives. So nobody will need to convince anybody of anything. When it comes their turn to face this stuff, you know, they'll be facing it. There's a lot of people holding out like, oh no, it's all conspiracy stuff, or it's all new agey shit, or it's all Christian nonsense, or it's all insert your psychologically projected label here. But you know, it's a thing, and if you don't know it yet, you'll eventually slam into it, or it'll slam into you. So it's okay if you don't believe me, you think it's crazy or whatever. That's all good. That's your right to your opinion. I'm not looking to change anybody's mind. I'm only looking to speak to the like-minded, and you know, because they haven't mastered telepathy yet, neither have I. And when we speak, it's mostly going to be the non-like-minded who hear. You know, kind of unavoidable. So, yep. Any last words, guys?
I have nothing else further to say at this point. I mean, I pretty much said everything that needs to be said.
Last word from my brother on the screen. Okay, apparently not. So, Everybody have a good day or night or whatever it is on your part of the planet. Catch you later. Happy year of darkness. See ya. Shine bright. Laters.